This video is going to cover the sheet tabs at the bottom of your screen. If you notice, we mentioned, you may have seen it on some of the discussion board. On the bottom of the screen, you have January totals, January range. These are worksheets within your workbook. Okay, separate spreadsheets within the workbook. And when you first open up Excel, you normally will get 3 worksheets within a workbook. You can easily add a worksheet by just clicking on Insert Worksheet. Okay, you can also go up to the top, Insert Worksheet, and you can also do that through the bottom here. So just to remember, just kind of reminder that there's usually 3 different ways of doing things within Excel. Doesn't matter which way you do it, just as long as you get the end result. That's all I'm looking for. So, but let's look at this. I know we covered this briefly last time we were here, I think in Unit B, but notice if you click on, left click on a tab, you get all these different items. We get insert, delete, rename, move and copy, view the code. This is where you get to protect your sheet so nobody can make changes to it. Tab colors, if I wanted to change that tab, just to give it some more visual on there. If I right click, tab color, and just select another color, notice that actually gives that to you. Sometimes it can be very helpful if you have several different tabs and you want to go to one all the time to alert that to you. We can hide a tab. So that means if you hide it and then you lock the workbook, nobody can get to that tab unless you give them permission or give them a password. Think about that if you're doing a budget and you have all of these items. One very popular item that Excel is used for is company budgets. So think about that. I have a budget. I've got all the different items, our supplies, what we're using in printing, what we're paying for facilities, what we're paying our employees, and maybe I don't want to publicize, of course, the employee information. I can hide that worksheet and then lock down the workbook so nobody can get into it. So just an extra feature there. Okay, but what I want to look at today, we covered insert. I mean, I can insert a worksheet in it. If I just place my cursor, I want the worksheet, maybe I want it between January and January range. I'm going to click on January totals, right click, and I'm going to say insert, and it's going to ask me what I want to insert. Notice you have an option for a chart. So rather than charting out items on the actual worksheet itself, you can make a separate worksheet just to house your charts, and sometimes that's very helpful. But we want to add a worksheet, so I'm just going to click on Worksheet and click OK. And notice I get down on the bottom of the screen, notice I get an extra worksheet, and it's blank. The whole thing is blank, right? So if I want to rename it, I'm going to right click it and I'm going to click rename. That's where you're going to get all of these items. And it turned black, so I guess it's meaning I can actually type on top, which that's exactly what it's doing. So I'm going to click on that, type February, and I can change my color or however I want to do it, just to kind of give you an idea. But what I want to talk about here today is more so how to insert something from another workbook. Okay, so to actually move or insert a worksheet, we can actually move it or copy it. We can combine different spreadsheets into a workbook, and I'm going to show you how to do that. On my screen, I pulled up a population estimate worksheet, and that's E04B3, just to give an example. And I want to look at another one that we have open, and I believe I have our transpose worksheet. My system's a little slow right now. On there. And let's see if we can get the transposed here. So yeah, so this is the spreadsheet that we had, or the worksheet up that we actually transposed the January in the north. And what if I wanted to actually put this in to my other workbook? So what we would do is we would right click on sheet 1 and I would say move or copy. Now, you can either take this particular spreadsheet and completely cut it out of the current workbook and put it in the other file. To do that, you would move it, okay? I don't want to cut it. I just want to get a copy of it. So what I'm going to do is click on Create a Copy. And it says Move Selected Sheets to where? To what book? So I actually want to move it to that population. And if I remember, that was this Populate XLS. So I'm going to click on that. So it says Move this particular sheet to the book and I wanted to go to the end. So I can actually, if you notice it came up, it had all the worksheets within that workbook. So I want to actually move it to the end, and I'm going to click OK. Okay. Now notice I'm jumped over now to the other worksheet, okay, or workbook. Terminology kind of get confused sometimes. But notice I'm now in the population workbook. And if I click on the first tab, you'll notice that's where we were, right? And now here's our transpose. And I'll just rename this to indicate that that was our transposed worksheet, okay? If I pop back over to our transpose, notice that sheet is still there because I've used the move or rather the copy function rather than move. If I would have done move, then of course this would have disappeared off this sheet. So basically that's how you move or copy from different ones. So when we're talking about doing an assignment, when you're doing your assignments, I want to get you really familiar with how to manipulate these spreadsheets, because you're really going to come across examples or just instances that you need to take data from other workbooks, and you're not going to want to rekey them because rekeying means making errors. So you don't want to do that. You just want to copy or move them. So that would be the easy way to do that. Remember too that you can actually move these items. Like if I put them in here incorrectly and I want to transpose before, you would click on your transpose tab, hold your mouse down, and notice when I hold the left mouse down, I now have the paper just like a copy or a move function, and I'm going to click, and I'm just holding it down, and I moved my hand to the left, and it moved that piece of paper on top of US, and I'm going to drop it, and it's now transposed the order of those two. Okay, it's just that easy on how to do that. Remember too, if you want to enter a new blank worksheet, you're going to click on Insert Worksheet, which is over to the side here, and that's going to give you a blank one as well. And I can add and I can move that to wherever I want as well. So just some information, extra information for you on how to use the tab and the sheet tabs at the bottom. Remember to right click will give you all the options that are available for your particular sheets. If you want to insert, delete, rename, move, or copy, this is also the function you will use to view, or rather to protect your sheet, and you can change and hide them.